Hello folks, this is Steve AP4Yo. This is an update on the fix to the coolant leak that occurred a week ago. Today is Saturday, November 2nd. Now, this is the original part. And in there is the part that Scott at Scott's Garage put in there. Now, this has to do with the coolant that's under here in the radiator that is pumped through the engine to keep it from seizing up. Now, when Scott opened the hood and we both were looking, there was a lot of spray around in here, this area, not over there or up there, or it was all around in this area. And he was squeezing hoses trying to figure out where the leak came from. The part he replaced is this one. Now I've got it oriented the same way. This is this. I've got it oriented the same way. See, it doesn't sit there as well. Okay, it's the same angle. This, he said that when he went to take that hose off in the repair step, it simply broke off. And we can see some white material here. I'm guessing there was a very slow leak there, which might explain why I was slowly losing coolant from there. This hose goes in this pipe to the reservoir. This hose down in here goes to the engine block. And all right? And you can see, so he took the O-ring off, and to get this off, he simply cuts the hose, and then he can shake it loose. It's already a bad part. Now this makes it easier. Same thing here. For that part right there, he cut it with a knife, and he's able to shake it off of there. But this connection here is more complicated. It's actually multiple piece, and he simply loosened that and was able to, after cutting those loose, able to shake it out. Now, was I standing there seeing him do it? No. But I know what he was doing, because I used to do this sort of thing a long time ago when I went back to college and I was working in my brother's foreign car repair shop. Same thing happened about 5 years ago. There's a problem with the quality of the part and the design. There are, in a certain sense, a number of independently moving parts here. This part is independent of the engine block, so that side is doing this. This side is being flexed. This is another connection that's being flexed. And the center of the problem is here. Now, right there where my tip of my finger is, can you see it? That's where the break was. There's a crack, and that's where the coolant came out. But that's pointing down. So it was spraying down onto the transmission and being splashed up to around here. And that's why we couldn't figure out the pattern. We saw the pools on down there, and that explains the pattern. There was a splatter pattern around in here, but not any further out. There was pools of it on there, and what it was is it was jetting downwards from the crack and splattering up. Now, he had to do a pressure check to find it, because the way these are made, once I turned the engine off and had it in there and it started to cool off, there wasn't enough pressure in the system to be spraying anything out, and also it would have been cavitated, meaning the coolant would have gone to a lower level in the engine. So we made the decision after he looked things over to us together in the engine compartment on Saturday that I simply would take the car home and not drive it and just bring it right back on Monday, just a quarter-mile drive, and then he would test it, and we knew what part we needed to replace. He already had ordered this. We knew this was what the failure was. We just didn't know exactly how. And the circuit rider, the parts guy, delivers a lot of places. This obviously came from out of town. This is an old car. It's a 1996. This part is not necessarily stocked in Asheboro. So I got good service all the way around, folks. And I got my car back on Monday evening. And I'm grateful for the help I received from Scott. I was out. I didn't have my car for a day. Big deal. Steve A.B. and thank you, Scott, and everyone else that helped. Steve A.B. Foyel. I got my car back, and this car in dog years is older than me. Saying see you in '73.